Hey, greetings you guys, and welcome to another episode of Mosh Pits. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Nvidia yet again, and obviously you would have known this if you checked out the thumbnail and the title for this video, but please don't call me a shield just yet, okay? Now, let's just start out and say that I was actually planning on getting myself an RTX 3070 card, as I've said in, I think, 1 or 2 videos ago, but now apparently Nvidia is planning, well, not planning, but actually announced that they're going to be delaying the release of the 3070 by 2 weeks, and this also means that we're going to be getting those cards on the 29th of October instead of the 15th of October, which coincidentally is just 1 day after AMD is going to be showcasing their big Navi cards, presumably called the 6800 XT and the 6900 XT, or whatever the hell they want to call them. Now, I'm going to put my fake tinfoil hat over my head and say that Nvidia is actually doing this to steal to take from the hype that AMD is trying to build with their new graphics cards, and I guess they are also planning on somehow doing a price war with them. But they're obviously saying that this is more because they're ramping up production and they're trying to avoid yet another paper launch. And I guess if we're on the topic of paper launches, AMD and one of their marketing people, Frank Azor, has just said that, well, this was actually a conversation that has happened on Twitter, where someone said that he bets $10 that the upcoming release of the new AMD Radeon cards is also going to be a paper launch, just like the Nvidia RTX 30 series was, to which Frank Azor has said that he's looking forward to take the $10 that the other guy has just betted on. And to be fair, we were thinking that, like, hey, you know, they actually have production set for those cards and that won't be an issue. But with regards to that, Frank Azor has said in another discussion that, oh no, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't specifically say that this won't be a paper launch now. That sounds crazy when you try to think of it, and this also made me think that AMD's, well, more specifically AMD Radeon's team and their marketing is a bit crappy, and this is also what Steve from Gamers Nexus has discussed on one of his episodes, and I'm going in one of his videos, but I guess you could call those episodes as well. You're gonna be able to check out his video somewhere around here. Now, I personally really hope that AMD is going to release some great cards. We've also had some looks at some leaks and rumors telling us that they're going to be able to hit more than 2 gigahertz of boost frequencies, which still pretty good, and when you're trying to think about it, but that's not the only indication of performance in this case. But I guess the bigger picture in this case that I'm trying to get to is that more competition is always good for the consumer in this case, and I really hope that AMD is going to bring their best with their new graphics cards, because Ryzen is doing really well, and that's also going to get its announcement. I think it's actually on the 8th of October, when we're also gonna have a look at the new Ryzen CPUs, which are looking really nice at this point. I discussed about them in a previous video, which is going to be linked somewhere around here, hopefully. Otherwise, you're gonna be able to find it in the video description, where I link quite a lot of things, usually, including timestamps. So if you want to hear about something else, well, I guess you can click on those as well. Now, also with regards to Nvidia, in their post where they said that they are delaying the release of the 3070, they have also made sure to let people know that this is going to bring 2080 Ti level of performance, or even better, depending on the games that you are playing, which, you know, kind of looks like they're trying to build even more hype. And also with regards to Nvidia, we also had a look at what presumably is the mobile chip for an RTX 3070 mobile GPU that's obviously going to be used in laptops. Now, I don't know if they're going to call them 3070 Max Q design or whatever, and in this case whatever nomenclature they're actually going to use for those, but I assume that the best time to release those will be CES 2021, which takes place in January. Obviously this time the event won't take place live in flesh and bone, but actually online, and I think you also know why, and if not, then human malware, that's the issue in this case. Now I wanted to say that this is actually really great for laptops, because if there are anything like the 3070 and anything like what Nvidia is trying to show us with those 3070, that being, I'm obviously talking about having 2080 Ti level of performance and better, then this is going to be awesome for laptops if they can somehow make them still thin and light and not use a ton of power, and also have some battery life that it's presumably not going to last anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes when whenever you want to game. But with that out of the way, I guess it's also time to talk about other delays. This being with regards to World of Warcraft and their upcoming Shadowlands expansion, which was also delayed, but I'm not sure if this was by an entire year or less, because I didn't do a whole lot of reading about it, since I'm not a big World of Warcraft player myself. But I just wanted you to know that this is happening, and Blizzard has obviously partially blamed human malware and also the feedback from the community that they've got. So yeah, now they're working on the game, but I guess in the meantime you should also know that Cyberpunk 2077 is still scheduled to release really soon. And with regards to Cyberpunk 2077, we've also gotten a look at a new ad that they've done with Keanu Reeves. Yes, my friends, Keanu Reeves in flesh and bone, as he is walking hastily and listening to a bad guy from Billie Eilish, has told us to seize the day, but I think what he was actually trying to tell us is to seize a copy of Cyberpunk 2077 whenever it gets out, because I really think the game is going to be awesome, and I'm actually really hyped for it. And actually what I had on my script right here is because it's going to be a great game, and I wanted to make a pun that CDPR owns Good Old Games as well, and yeah, that didn't really pan out, did it? But I guess if you don't want to play Cyberpunk 2077, you might be able, or you might want to actually play another game, Apex Legends, and now you should be able to play it with your PlayStation and Xbox friends really soon. That is on October 6th, when they're actually going to be enabling crossplay. Now, with regards to another feature that they, well, not necessarily a feature, but another comment that Respawn had earlier this year, they said they're going to bring this game to Steam as well. Well, apparently we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for that, and also Apex Legends and their crossplay feature is only going to be available in beta, as they're still testing this out. And before my camera dies, I'm just gonna stop the recording real quick, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and I had to stop that recording because, like I said in yesterday's video, my camera tends to stop after 10 or 11 or 12 minutes of recording, and I was seeing that, hey, I just recorded for 10, 11 minutes and I had to stop. Nevertheless, that's besides the point, but I think I was talking about beta features for Apex Legends. Yeah, and for a segue for that one, I thought about Google Stadia, because it really seems to be still in beta somehow, because it's not actually going to be supported on the new Chromecast devices that they're releasing. And speaking of beta functionalities, they just well, they didn't technically announce it because a Reddit user has just found out that now you can use USB Type-C headphones together with your Google Stadia controller if you somehow bought one of those. Because this apparently wasn't working before. And something else that is not working is using Bluetooth headphones with your controller. So yeah, I guess Google is still working on that. And what they're also still working on, I guess, is bringing Google Stadia to their new Chromecast devices, because like I said, and like Google has also mentioned in their event like 2 days ago, that is not going to be available at launch. Instead, we're gonna have to wait till next year before it becomes available. And this kind of made me think more about Amazon's Luna service, which already seems a lot more enticing and a lot better thought out and planned out in this case. So if you really want to stream your games, I guess your money should actually go to Jeff Bezos and Amazon in this case. So yeah, there's that. In other news, and where your money and data is going to, I guess, it's time to talk about Facebook, who just sued 2 companies for data scraping after the whole infamous 2016 Cambridge Analytica disaster. Facebook has updated its terms and conditions to also include some more information on data scraping and what partner companies are allowed to do with their platform and all the information that people submit to Facebook. Either way, what I was trying to say is that Facebook has just sued 2 companies, one of those being an Israeli company and another being a US company from Delaware. Go figure. Basically, they used they each used a browser extension to get more data from people that had Facebook profiles. So this is kind of more than just your birthday, your gender, and your name. And now Facebook is suing them for their actions that they've taken. But with regards to data scraping and whether this is actually illegal or not, I wanted to let you know that LinkedIn has actually famously lost a case against a company that was scraping for data, because apparently the rules with regards to data scraping and what companies can do with all this data, especially if it's public information, yeah, they lost one of those cases. So I don't know if Facebook is actually going to win in this case, and it kind of sounds really funny to hear that Facebook is now the protector, when we know how they're really actually taking all the data from us, also with the Oculus devices and whatnot. But I'm not gonna get into that discussion right now. I think Martin from Tech Altar has some better videos on that, so I guess go check his channel somewhere around here. And I'm also going to be linking down in the video description the original article from TechCrunch, where you can see also the documents that they filled, that they sent for this lawsuit. And yeah, let me know actually what you think about Facebook protecting our data in this case. And with that being said, I guess now it's time to talk about the nibbles of the day, because why not, I guess. The first topic over here is actually coming from Canon, who's now apparently working on a mixed reality headset that's actually smaller than a smartphone, but that looks really weird, much like a device that a doctor would be using in this case, or a pair of binoculars. And I was going to show how a pair of binoculars looks like, but I guess I should just show the image of how this new device from Canon looks like. Well, nevertheless, we don't know much about the device just yet. We just know that it comes out in 2 form factors, I guess I could say, those being with a head strap and the other one being with a head-mounted display. And speaking of VR and AR and mixed reality and what have you, simulated reality, because that's how Apple calls all of those things, as far as I know, a team of researchers from Florida has actually gotten their hands on $1.5 million, this obviously being a grant, to develop a full-body tracksuit that can be used in VR and other applications as well. And I was trying to remember what their whole spiel was called. I think their technology is called microfluid feedback system. Yeah, I was looking at the script and that's actually right. Cha-ching. Well, this whole thing is going to make it super cool and, well, super realistic and then you're gonna get the best and most accurate haptic feedback and haptic simulation in this case. And obviously I don't expect this to come out to normal consumers just yet, maybe in the far future, but I really think that this would make a really great video if Linus from Linus Tech Tips would get his hands on this. So let's hope that this is coming out sometime and they're gonna work on this. And speaking of things that I somehow expect to come out, Apple, yeah, and their foldable phone, because they've just issued a patent talking about a foldable self-regenerating screen display thing, I believe. Yeah, I'm probably right. Either way, I'm talking about an Apple foldable device, and I think that would be really nice to at least gaze at. And speaking of looking at such a phone, we've obviously gotten some renders from Let's Go Digital, and I really have to admit that it looks quite interesting, although I don't know what the use case for it would be, especially for me. But yeah, I wanted to show that I'm still using my S8 over here. But yeah, foldable phones are nice, especially the Galaxy Fold 2. I don't necessarily like the other foldable devices, like, what was it, the Z Flip that Austin Evans is using. But yeah, before we go into another 2-hour discussion, I guess it's time to end this episode of Mosh Pit. So thank you guys for joining, and I wanted to let you know that links to my Twitter and of course the Crowd Discord server are going to be in the video description down below, so make sure to check those out. In the video description, you're also going to be able to find all the original articles that I talked about in today's video, as well as the original authors. So yeah, do make sure to check them out because they're great, you're great too, and this is my outro at this point. So yeah, gotta go. Bye!